The Tax Extraordinaire, how Enyka Gaines turns numbers into freedom and community impact. We have a special here today. Enyka Gaines, my business partner. This isn't just about taxes. We're going to talk about the whole strategy, the thought process. And I'm live in the studio with the Enyka Gaines as well. But this transformation through trust, through business, time-tested systems. Let me tell you about my sister, Enyka Gaines. Give me a moment to share with the Tax Extraordinaire and sister in business as well as in purpose. We met over 18 years ago. Two women sitting side by side. That's why I call her my double, 32 and 34 for Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, one of the best sororities in the world. I'm just saying, but I'm Flash. And flashing in between Toronto, Ontario, and Detroit, Michigan while I'm online working for the Chris Bosh Foundation. But my double, my Federal Reserve, managing that 32 and 34, that whole relationship of managing money, not only for our sorority, not only for our line, but God had her destined to do it for taxes as well, for thousands of people over the 30 years in her tax business. So she was a steward. She listened to what God actually helped her in regards to doing. But honestly, she's not just a soror. She's an angel, if I can say. My business partner, my friend, my force in helping people, my left and right for CCC Because We Care Foundation, my why. So if we look at Gaines Family Services and the Tax Extraordinaire and who we're going to talk to today, it's not just about the Gaines Family Services, over 30 years of experience helping individuals and businesses and entrepreneurs to stop overpaying and strategize saving, succeeding in their taxes. We're not just talking about Smile Don't Blink photo booth, the owner, because capturing precious moments is what's deserved in just day in and day out. I'm not even just talking about Community Connect Consulting, which we started about 18 years ago as well, to help businesses and growth and consultations to help them grow their business with automation now. And even thinking about CCC Because We Care Foundation, the vice president, we understanding that growth and with being the change, like if you notice, there's multiple businesses that I actually had, sharing the vision of empowerment, faith-based, being entrepreneurs, growing and helping people. That's what we do. So I am actually pleased to be in the studio with Enyka Gaines, and we're going to talk to her, ask some questions. And it's not about hype or anything in regards to these live virtual conversations, but understanding education, coming from Detroit, Michigan. What up, though, in regards to literacy and helping people and acts of kindness. And this is the real testimony, if I can just have a moment. We've been through audits and seeing tax season, working closely with her this past year. Take this actual knowledge and understanding with the Tax Extraordinaire. Things may happen, but you're with someone that's trusted. So let me bring on the extraordinaire Enyka Gaines. Watch this action live and in person. What up, though, Enyka?
What up, though, community?
Yes, this is going to be real smooth and easy in regards to conversing, but really want to just talk about literally, just starting from how did you get to where you are now, being born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, to being the Tax Extraordinaire?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you for that warm welcome. So Enyka, I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I attended Woodward Elementary School, McMichael Middle School, and of course, the one and only Cass Technical High School.
We can talk about that argument later.
Second to none.
But keep going. You're doing
second
great.
to none. So anyway, so how I got into accounting or the tax field. In high school, I had a business administration curriculum. And so when I went to college, I went to Grambling State University. And so when I went to college, I was like, okay, well, I wanted to be a lawyer, right? I wanted to be a lawyer. So I ran over to the liberal arts department, and they told me what it took to be a lawyer. And it was basically research, reading, English had to be my major. And I was like, okay, no, I don't think I want to do that. So with me already having the background from Cass Tech with business administration, I walked over to the business building and I decided to go into business, and with my concentration being in accounting. Okay. And I fell in love with taxes because I took a federal income taxation class, and that ended up being one of my favorite classes throughout, in college. So I started doing some little, doing taxes here on the side. I started doing taxes on the side, and found a true love for it.
Okay. So, but in regards, that was sounded so amazing and honest and simple. But I want you to take even a further step back. I mean, I know we talked about Woodward Elementary. At Cash Tech, we know Renaissance, it's a fight and a battle. We'll just let it make it. We'll let her make it. But in regards to even having the inspiration besides that class at Cass, how did you get here? 2025 being over 30 years, I mean, an entrepreneur, just a powerhouse. Kind of walk me back in regards to maybe some of the things you went through to get to this point that you're in right now.
So my upbringing was, it was a little bit of a struggle, but I made it do what it do, right? So I went to Grambling. I was at Cass. I was okay. Well,
tell the people how she got to Grambling.
How I got to Grambling. I mean, I understand this. I was a young. What do you want to call it?
Whippersnapper?
Yeah, I was a young whippersnapper at Cass, doing some things that I probably shouldn't be. I was a little grown too fast. Let's just say that. I actually I was living with my grandmother. Prior to, I was living, of course, with my mom, who was kind of stern and everything. And so, kids at that age, you want to be grown or whatever. So I ended up moving with my grandmother, and she was a little less lenient. She was more lenient, I should say. She was more lenient. And me being able to do the things that, teenagers do or whatever. Whereas my mom was a little bit more strict. So it was more structured with my mom as opposed to my grandmother. So it was pretty much like I was, on my own pretty much. And so I was at Cass and I was just doing my thing. And actually I was in the 11th grade and I was not really doing well at Cass. One semester I actually had, I think it was 4 F's and 2 D's. And, it came a point in time where I almost didn't graduate. And it was like, hey, you got to do what you got to do to graduate. So I really wasn't really that focused in school. So this is leading up to me saying that I went to Grambling State. One of my good girlfriends who I was running with at the time, she had got accepted to Grambling. Everybody else was going to college. I was like, oh, well, shoot, everybody else going to college. Well, hey, I want to do that too. Even though, like I said, Cass was preparing us, but I wasn't preparing myself. Because I was out, being a grown teenager. So I ended up applying to Grambling. The application fee was $5 whole because I didn't have much money. I was trying to make it do what it do. And so I ended up getting accepted to Grambling. 2 weeks later? So I was in there with everybody else going to college. But me doing that, I still didn't know really what that meant. But I got me I had a locker full of stuff that I had. I had 5 cents in my pocket, literally 5 cents. I didn't have any help from anybody. All I knew was that I was going to college and I was going to Grambling. I had a bus ticket. My girlfriend mother bought me a bus ticket. So again, I had 5 cents in my pocket and a big old locker going down to Grambling State University. Hope, wish, dream, and a prayer. Did not know what I was going to do, but got down there. And the crazy thing is, got down there, again, I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, but I did do my financial aid. So I did do that. So, because I knew we were supposed to do financial aid. So thank God that I did do that because that allowed me to pay for college. Because I just went down there. I didn't know I had to pay for college, to be honest with you. I didn't know, I thought the financial aid took care of it. Well, that was not the case. The financial aid, it took care of it. It took care of some of it, but it didn't take care of all of it. So I ended up getting the Pell Grant and I got some loans and I got work study, but it still wasn't enough. So I almost had to go home. But I ended up calling my grandmother at the time and I needed like $300 and something. And on that very last day, she sent me that $300 and something, and I was able to enroll in school.
Oh my God!
I was able to enroll in school, and that's where it all began. Again, I had 5 cents in my pocket. The girlfriend who got accepted to Grambling, who I went down there with, her father was setting her up a bank account and everything. She was getting money monthly, weekly, whatever it was, and of course, I didn't have that. I had that 5 cents, so. I don't even know if he knew that. I don't know what he knew, but God put it on his heart because we were at the bank setting up her account, and God put it on his heart to give me a $50 bill. And he told me to get $3 in quarters. And so I went and I got the $3 in quarters, and he ended up giving me the $47. And so I had that $47 forever and a day because I didn't know where, the money was coming from, where any other money would come from. So that's really how I started my journey at Grambling State University.
And I love that story. Now, I'm so glad you were able to tell that story because it shows your mindset and in regards to just growth. And when you look at now in regards to like everything that you've kind of been resilient in through your whole process, like what impact is that in regards to taxes when you bring it to the tax business? So what inspired you to start Gaines Family Services, just being the tax extraordinaire, just coming full circle to where we are now?
Yeah. So after, during college, after college, I was doing people's taxes, just, family and friends, just doing it as a hustle. So I've been working. I actually tried to get out of the accounting industry and go into HR, but that didn't work out. And I was just like, I don't know, accounting is just in my blood. So I started, started doing more, right? And so then I ended up taking a buyout from GM. I took a buyout from GM. And the funny thing about that is that I actually, when I started working at GM, I was like, I am going to retire from here. Thought that I was going to retire from there. I had no idea that I was actually going to take a buyout and start my own tax business. And not, like I said, I started off as a hustle, but I turned the hustle into a business that is flourishing and that is very rewarding as I get to work, 5 months out of the year. Well, strong 5 months out of the year, I'll say, because I work year round. However, I'm the busiest from January through May.
And so what do you do the other months?
Well,
I mean, we talk, what do you do the other 7?
Yeah, the other 7, I'm traveling quite a bit. My clients are probably like, where is she? But again, I have a very supportive staff that does help when I'm away, but I love to travel. I love to travel. So on my off season, that's what I'm doing. I'm traveling.
And we're going to get to the travel part when you ask that question as well. But I wanted to touch base because I remember one of the reasons I connected with you is I got audited. Okay. And remember when I got audited, I was like, who did your taxes? Mm-hmm. And so keeping it simple is something that stood out to what you do when you have your clientele. So you always said it doesn't have to be confusing when you actually have your tax process. So kind of share with me a story of a client who, you walk them through a transformation of their finances, just with growth in regards to, just their situation, not understanding what to do with business and you helping them, just with your insight.
So I can give you a scenario where I had a client who, they went on disability. So they went on disability, but were not getting paid. Therefore, they had to do a hardship and take some money out of withdraw some money out of their 401k. Mm-hmm. And what they did was they withdrew a large amount of money from their 401k to pay up 5 years of their mortgage, right? And I was just like, I wonder what made you think to do that. But, again, a lot of people just don't know what to do. They don't have the resources. They don't have the knowledge. But taking out that large amount, let's just say it was $50,000, but to take out, let's say $50,000 and give it to the mortgage company for them to hold, to take out, to hold an escrow. So essentially they're making a whole lot of money off of your money that's just sitting there. And, again, paying your mortgage up for 5 months. Anything could happen. I always tell people to use your house as an asset, not necessarily. A lot of people want to pay their houses off, and I get it, but I also advocate for people to use it as an asset. So if you put in $50,000, it just didn't make sense to put $50,000 to give it to the mortgage company. And aside from that, you already have other bills that still need to be paid. And so now you have the $50,000 that you sent to the mortgage company, and you still have bills that need to be paid. So it's so really that's not really effective because now you're scrounging trying to get those bills paid. So what I suggested to my client is that you call the mortgage company back and get that $50,000 back. And if you want to pay your mortgage, put it in the high yield savings account, a money market account, let it sit there, let that large amount sit there, and you pay it, monthly yourself, as opposed to having The mortgage company do that for you, as well as if you have that large amount of money, you can pay your other bills the same way, as opposed to putting all that money into one source, and that money can be used for multiple sources.
But that know, like, and trust factor, how, and in regards to that name, the Extraordinaire, how did you get that title, the Tax Extraordinaire?
Oh, that's fun. Well, yes, but I mean, everybody called me the tax lady, so I had to put a little twist to it. I'm like, the tax lady. Tax Extraordinaire is over 30 years of experience helping people strategize on maximizing their tax returns, making sure that they're taking the deductions, educating my clients on the process of what I do with their taxes. I explain to them. I don't just do them. I explain to them what I did, and then I also explain to them what they can do if they're not getting a refund, what they can do to maximize their refund. Give them strategies, and so the Tax Extraordinaire with over 30 years of experience is very extraordinary. And I must say that, hey, I can brush my shoulders off and say, hey, I deserve the title of extraordinaire.
So I agree, because it extends not only in taxes, but in business and community. Kind of what fueled your purpose to start so many different ventures in regards to, I mentioned Gaines Family Services, Community Connect Consulting, CCC Because We Care Foundation. You're a part of Being the Change LLC, the co-founder, and just all of these different Smile Don't Blink photo booth, capturing life's moments. What made you, or what fueled you to even continue to start all these different ventures?
Well, residual income, first of all. Yes, I would say residual income. But not only that, I mean, it's different things, different businesses. Smile Don't Blink photo booth, again, capturing life's moments, the smiles, the camaraderie that you have with your guests. I mean, it gets them engaging. It's a fun time. It's a fun time, and I love it when people smile. I love it when people are happy. I love it when people are capturing those moments and those memories that like something you just can't get back. So it's good to capture those moments with Smile Don't Blink photo booth. As far as Community Connect Consulting, that is the consulting business where we consult on small businesses and nonprofits. We set them up. We give people strategies, policies, procedures on how to sustain their business, to streamline their businesses, to be profitable, budgeting, marketing, all those essentials. We do that with Community Connect Consulting. And then the Tax Extraordinaire, of course, is my tax business, which again is I have a love for taxes. I have a love for educating people. I have a love for helping people. I have a love for saving people money, strategizing. And did I forget one? Oh, CCC Because We Care Foundation. Yes, that's truly my passion of giving back. Giving back is very instrumental to me. It's heart. It just makes my heart smile. I love seeing the smiles on people's faces when we bless them with random acts of kindness. You just make a person's day. You just never know. People, we've sent money to people who, they're caregivers, and, the caregivers don't get, much recognition. So, CCC Because We Care, we've given away massage packages for people. We've given away incontinence products to the elderly, to help them out, as well as help the caregivers out. So I just love giving back. It truly warms my heart, and I like positively impacting the community in any way that I can.
I love that, and that's why I'm so blessed to have you as a business partner. Just your mindset and everything moving forward from that as well. But just wanted to make sure I keep it in the time frame, and wanted to hit taxes a little bit. What's one myth, around taxes that stands out for you that, in regards to just immediately keeping like small business owners and families? Is there a scenario that you could think of that stands out for you that kind of, smacks myth in the face?
Yes. Yes. One of the myths is that people think that they can do them on their own, which some people can, but you really should, contact a professional who can maximize your return, They can make sure that you get all the deductions, that you qualify for. I had a client, real quick. She did her taxes on her own, and it was a simple W-2. Nothing major. Again, you can, but you really have to be careful in when you are doing them. So, and if anybody's doing taxes and they know in box 12, there are several different, there's like A, B, C, D, and E, all the way down to F or whatever. There's a code that that's associated with it, right? So what she did was there's a code A and then there's a code AA. So she selected code AA. And with her selecting code AA, that had her owing almost $19,000 to the IRS. A simple mistake, but again, $19,000, that's a lot of money. And she just did not know what to do. She didn't know what to do. So she contacted me. Someone referred her to me. She contacted me, and I looked at it and found the error. And of course, I did an amendment for her, and I saved her $19,000.
With the crazy part about that story, which is amazing, but in the land of AI, seeing all like the TurboTaxes and the commercials and things like that, like no like in trust factor. People, during tax times, I saw it myself, people advertising, I can get you $10,000 for your tax, not even knowing their situation, knowing that it's case by case. Like that's why I even wanted to bring that story up. But when we actually talk about, the sacrifices, right? Like because your story is beautiful, to be honest. Let's start there. But when there was a moment that struggled, like where you had to actually show sacrifices and your faith was tested. Do you have a scenario that you can share that, in regards to your story where your faith was just tested? And
So this is aside from taxes, right? So this is a little bit of me being authentic and being just human, and I don't know what you call it.
Don't operate like you. Like, so I'm not gonna even let that go past without even making that statement. But keep going.
I don't know. Just being transparent, I guess I should say. I had a situation where, in the housing market back in 2008, I believe it was 2007, 2008. When the housing market was crashing, we had purchased, I think it was 2009. But anyway, we purchased our home, was in our home. Everything was fine. At the time, my ex-husband, he lost his job. And so it was a situation where we were not able to pay the mortgage. So we were asking for help. That was the time where they were doing the, what do you call it? I know it was cash for keys, but they were, I can't think of the name, what they were doing, reevaluating your loans. I can't think of the name right now, but yeah, it was like reevaluate.
Not refinance, but
it wasn't a refinance, but it was, I can't think of, they were doing, anyway, redoing your remodification. There you go. Modification. There you go. I couldn't think of it. Yes. So they were doing modifications. And so of course, we applied for the modification, and they actually approved the modification. We made the payments for the modification. I think they told us we had to do it for 8 months, whatever it was. And then once the 8 months was up, they would, look at the modification again and give you what it was going to be moving forward. So they did that, and but what they came back with was higher than what our original note was. And they also stated that we had to pay all of the back. If we accepted that offer, we would have to pay all of the arrears. We would have to pay that back up in 3 months. And it was like, okay, so that's so they're setting us up for failure, right? We can't do that. So what we did was we fought it. Went to court, ended up seeing, I went to court like 2 different times, and the first time I went to court, I saw this woman, and I actually thought that she was in the same situation that I was in. I didn't say anything to her at the time, but fast forward, go to court, and we see her again, because again, we're fighting this whole situation. See her in court, see her in there, and end up finding out that she was a lawyer. And so she was a lawyer fighting for the mortgage, for people with the mortgage companies and everything. And so she ended up taking my case. And I think we fought this case for a good 3-4 years. I took it all the way to the Supreme Court. It was, we did the cash for keys. I was about to do cash for keys, and then looked over all of that and was like, yeah, no, I really don't want to. We went looking for houses. apartments. We were just trying to figure it out. And it was like, you know what? I really want my house. I don't want to move. So we didn't do the cash or keys. We went ahead and filed a lawsuit, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court and was denied. Yeah, it was denied. So now,
Right.
so now it's, in a frenzy, with panicking, stress, because I really do want to keep my home at the time. All the other homes, it just didn't make sense to move at that point in time. So I stepped out on faith. I stepped out on faith. I started researching. I started calling around. We were at the point where they told us we had 2 weeks, and they came and put the foreclosure note on the garage and everything. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know what we're going to do. And I had, called to several different mortgage companies trying to get a loan, but they wouldn't do it because of the situation that was going on, because we were in court and the situation that was going on with the modification. So they wouldn't do it. So I'm like, oh my God, I felt defeated. And then something told me to get on the computer. I'm going to say, God told me to get on the computer. And I got on the computer and I searched whatever, and I pulled up a person, and then I was like, you know what? No, this is not going to work. And I said, you know what? Yeah, you're right. It's not going to work if you don't try. And so I filled out the information. Day or two later, a guy named Sergio calls me. Sergio and Melissa, I love you guys to this day. They were miracle workers. They did everything that everybody else said that they could not do. They got us back in the house. We did not have to move. And so we bought it back for less than what we purchased it for in the first place. And then our note was even cheaper. So we were able to keep the home. I mean, it was just like, it was the craziest thing, but I tell you what.
You're but your God.
Yes, I was just very thankful that I listened to that voice in my ear, and it seemed very far-fetched. It did. It seemed very far-fetched. However, nothing is too for God. He can do it all. So,
which kind of segues into my next question for you, and how we keep God first. So we talk about it all the time, because thank God for my journey and yours as well. But tell me about a story though, because one of the sayings that we both say often is being comfortable being uncomfortable. Tell me an example of where you had to step outside of that comfort zone to be uncomfortable to do something that God aligned you to do.
Well, yeah, I can give you two. One is right now.
And I appreciate you.
I am one that does. I'm one that likes to be in the background. I like to do everything in the background. So being on camera, talking in front of people, all of that stuff is just, it's kind of challenging for me. However, I'm learning to be comfortable in this space of being uncomfortable, right? So one of my good friends asked me to speak at a women's conference at church. And I was just like, huh? You want me to do what? Stand up in front of people and talk? Like, yeah, no, I'm the background person. Like, I am the background person, but I told myself, I challenged myself to actually do it. I was like, you're going to do it. It's going to be okay. It should have been really easy for me because the title of it was, the theme of it was walking in faith. And that's what I've been doing a lot in my life, is walking in faith. But I am so glad that I did step out on faith and do and do this speaking engagement, because I found out while doing that because it was stepping in faith, and so they wanted you to have two shoes, an old shoe and a new shoe, and give a story about it. But the main thing for me was that at the end of it, I realized, and what I said was that the shoes, that God ordered my steps. And that's when I truly realized that He orders my steps. Because if I think about my life and all the things that I've been through, it's nothing but God. Nothing but God. Yes. So I am thankful that I did step out of my comfort zone and speaking at a conference, because I realized that God orders my steps in the most amazing way. And so, yeah.
Even with this conversation today, God ordered the steps.
Yes, He did. Of course He did. Because, again, I am not one to, be in the front. I like to be in the background. I like to do all my stuff in the background. But, it seems like he's pushing me more and more to the front. So, hey, here I am.
Because I've been doing this, and people need to know that I'm not crazy. When I talk about Enyka Gaines, the Tax Extraordinaire, she's the actual person. I've had people in my DM say that, who is this angel that you keep talking about? And this is, see, I can touch her. She's real.
It's me.
But
I'm sorry, guys.
But we're working because that comfort is to seriously that know, like, and trust factor with even doing this in AI webinars and expanding our brand and growing to the billionaire plans that we have. These are things that we have to do is be uncomfortable. But when I share with you your mindset, what mindset helps you in regards to keeping grounded, staying focused in faith? And you talk about our God. When it gets overwhelming, what do you do, or what's some tactics that you use to be able to get through?
Well, God is always my number one.
Come on with it.
But he also, puts people in your path to help you along the way. And so I have a therapist, and I love my therapist. So my therapist actually helps me get through a whole lot of things. I think, I don't know, I think I could save the world, but somebody needs to save me too, So
I remember 2 years ago, it was an ultimatum: go to therapy, Adrian. I can't do this by myself. And I thank God for that conversation, seriously, because it was one of the best things that you ever given me as a gift. It supports me to lose my best friend. She doesn't treat me like everybody else. Like, I watch her do other people. I'm like, I don't get them ultimatums, like the maybes. It's like, Adrian.
Yeah, therapy. I honestly believe that everyone needs therapy. Everyone needs an outlet, for someone to talk to. I truly do. We think that we're superwoman, we can do it all by ourselves, but we can't. That's why God put therapists out here for us, or people to help us. And so I truly seek my therapist. I go every 2 weeks, and it's about growing. It's about evolving. You have your past and those things that you go through. But again, those things it's nothing you can do about the past. All you can do is move forward. And so, my therapist helps me move forward. Don't worry about the past. He, helps. He's allowing me to get to me. And I truly, I'm truly grateful for him, because again, I can the things that I can't talk to certain people about, I can talk to him about, and he can be very neutral and give me an honest opinion, or give me guidance, and so I truly enjoy therapy, and I encourage any and everybody to go to therapy. You may think that you're okay, or you don't have anything going on, but there's always something going on. You don't even know. You may not even know. I hadn't talked to my therapist maybe in about, I was traveling, and we kind of missed each other, and it had been about 4 weeks, but everything was going great with me. I'm like, everything's going great. I don't need, not that I really need to, but I was like, well, I said to myself, what am I going to talk to my therapist about today? And I couldn't think of anything, but when I got on that phone, it was stuff that I didn't even know that I needed. You know what I'm saying? That I needed to talk to him about. And he brought it around full circle, and it was a great meeting. So yeah, every 2 weeks. Okay. Every 2 weeks. Every week. Once a month. Right. Even quarterly, whatever it is, use the therapist as your outlet.
And I truly do. I also go, but I go every week. So a little bit more going on with me. So but in regards to the relationship with God, how you shape your business, even how we met through Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, 60 by Design, and 2007 line. but with all of that, how does God order your steps?
Well, how he orders it, literally.
Federal Reserve, right? Is that what we call you?
Yeah, Federal Reserve. That's my line name. He is a part of me. Like, it's a lot of things. I have so many testimonies that I could share with you. And my thing, the only way it could be is God. You know what I mean? Like, that's just it's the only way. Right. That's the one thing that I cherish, that my mom did for me in my childhood, is that she gave me a relationship with God. Mm-hmm. She allowed me to have a relationship. And that's the most important relationship of my life, is God. Like, he orders my steps in everything that I do,
I agree. And one thing is we haven't talked about or touched on is fear. Fear for success, fear of failure, fear for filing taxes. Mm-hmm. You know, what's one thing or a story that you can kind of stands out for you that the risk for people not filing taxes, you know, of where that actually plays? Like what will happen in regards to going to an unqualified tax professional, then, you know, coming to you to fix it. Right. What can you give us a story where someone almost lost, you know, just lost big because they went to someone else, didn't go to someone that's been trusted and doing this for years and had experience? That's why I wanted to make sure I bring you on live, because working in this digital space and the sidebar, you know, you see a lot of people just losing money, leaving money on the table, right? So what's a good story that, you know, someone went to another professional, unqualified tax professional, and then came to you where you had to fix it? And, you know, I think there was a senior situation that we talked about.
So yeah, so this kind of happens quite often with the seniors in the city who live in the city of Detroit. Let me say that, who live in the city of Detroit. You know, you have to file your taxes, and most of the seniors, they are on retirement. You know, they have their retirement and Social Security. And in the state of Michigan, where city of Detroit, it's not taxable. Those dollars aren't taxable, right? So so this situation was where a young lady brought in her tax return because the city had sent her a notice, a bill saying that she owed like $1,300. Mm-hmm. She tried to go back to the tax preparer that prepared them, and they couldn't help her. Mm-hmm. So she was referred to me, and I looked at her information. I said, oh, all we need to do is just send in what's being requested. And what was being requested, basically, they were letting her know that her retirement was not taxable. And so all she had to do was just send in the paperwork to show that it was a retirement. So pretty much her 1099-R, she needed to send that in. And once we sent that in, she didn't owe them money. They actually owed her money. Mm. So yeah, so she got money back as opposed to them, as opposed to her sending them money. So so what I tell most people, you know, you should not be scared of the IRS. I mean, I know everybody's scared of the IRS, but you should only be scared of them if you're not doing what they ask you to do. So now if they send you a letter, you know, read the letter, see what is asked of the letter. Don't put the letter to the side because you just don't know what to do, or contact the tax professional to see what needs to be done. It could be a simple fix, you know, just as simple as sending in a documentation. With the state of Michigan, you know, some people may get audited, or they say, hey, you need to send in, let's make sure that you are who you are. So they'll ask for your ID, your W-2, or whatever information. Just send the information in, whatever they are requesting. Right. Send in what they are requesting, nothing more, nothing less. Just send what they're requesting. And 9 times out of 10, it's a situation where you can get out of. Right. You know, so I would say definitely send in what they ask of you, and do not ignore them. Again, they will work with you. I mean, seriously, if you pick up the phone and you call, you let them know your situation, they will definitely work with you. So setting it to the side is just putting a Band-Aid on it. And yeah, so filing taxes, you should file your taxes every single year. I have a lot of people who, you know, oh, I'll just, you know, they say that they see that they owe, oh, I'll just do it next year. No, well, you can do it next year, but just know that all those penalties are going to accrue. The interest is going to accrue. So you want to get those taxes in if you owe as soon as possible. Now, if you're getting a refund, you do have up to 3 years to claim that refund. Right. So you don't want that to go out the window. And there's a lot of people that will not file their taxes, and then they miss out on money. They fear that they're going to owe, and then to get the taxes done, find out they're getting a refund, and then find out that they waited too late to get the refund. So, you know, you always want to at least get an estimate to see where you are, as opposed to not even doing them at all and not even knowing and just making an assumption. Right. Because like I said, I've had plenty of clients where they have lost out on thousands of dollars because they thought that they were going to owe, and that wasn't the case. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's huge too, because leaving money on the table, that's something that you try to maximize people's tax returns. I've seen you do different strategies, you know, to be able to help save them in their situation for them to be successful. Like your whole slogan, strategize, save, succeed. I just said it. I didn't even try to. That's fun. But anyway, what is one thing in regards to like helping people to not miss out on opportunities that they may overlook What's one thing small business owners, this is for my 1099 people. What's one thing that, or everybody honestly needs to do in order to kind of maximize the return? I got a double question. Answer that one first. So because I was like, what makes it different from them coming to you, as a tax extraordinaire to get their consultation versus just doing it themselves? Like,
well, doing it yourself. I mean, again, if you're not a tax professional, you may not know all of the deductions and things that you can take.
I've seen you do some magical stuff this season, don't you? I mean, spitting off information in 2 seconds. Oh yeah, did you do this tax stuff? Did you write this off? I mean, just it's amazing. Like I have my strengths, and I am amazing as well. But I've seen you, Enyka. That's why you're so humble, because people don't understand that. When you do the tax return, you don't see it like we see it. Keeping it simple, and you talk about documentation a lot, and that was one of the things that stood out for me. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it was just because
documentation is key. It is very key, especially in this climate. I mean, it's always been, but especially in this climate now, documentation,
AI stuff and everything, right?
Well, yeah, and technology, yes, all of that. Yeah.
Sorry, because I mean, like the
I'm talking about the documentation,
right?
But yeah, I mean, you must have documentation,
right?
You need it for your records as well, especially for small businesses. I have a lot of people that come in that their stuff is. I mean, they have the documentation, but it's over here, it's over there. Not everything. Some is in personal, some is in business. You have to be organized. You need to know the status of your business. Mm-hmm. You need to know how much you're spending here, how much you're spending there. If you can cut spending here, if you can streamline. But you can't know that if you have this over here, that over there, that over there. You want to have those documents not only for your taxes, but also for your business, so you can see, how good you're doing, or how bad you're doing, or the things you might need to change, to continue to grow.
Right.
So yeah. And then the other thing I would say is, like, a lot of people come, they want a business loss, which business losses are, they are what they are. But, if you have a business loss, you continue to not make money. How are you going to go out and get a loan to expand your business? Right. Or how are you going to go get a house? How are you going to get, that's one thing. Like, how are you going to go get a house if you got a $50,000 loss or a $20,000 loss? So how much money you gonna have to get you a house?
Right.
So you got to be aware of those things. But again, documentation is key, so you can know.
When they consult with you, they're able to get that clarity on what they need
to
do.
Yeah, most definitely. I educate my clients. I let them know what they can claim, what they can't claim, but I tell them to put everything down. And then when you bring the stuff to me, I'll know exactly what you can, what you can't, and then I'll explain everything to you. Mm-hmm. So you'll know what you can and what you can't. So that's
like all of these. I've invested in courses for this digital marketing journey, and we're going to getting into the automation piece, even for yourself, doing it. I've been around you doing it both ways, right? So before the AI, before the automation, before me turning your arm to try to get you going.
And I thank and appreciate you for doing so.
But how has that played a part in regards to you as a tax preparer, doing it the old way versus doing it the new way with AI and automation and, using TaxStone and the calendar for our calendars? I mean, just
the process has been streamlined. I mean, it has been streamlined. It has helped me do a lot more than what I used to do. I mean, I don't have to wrestle with the paper. I can go back. I don't have to call you for the information. I can, go back. It's all right there in the portal. I mean, like, this portal was the best thing ever. I know some of my clients do not like it. They don't. And at first, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't running to it, but Adrian, she insisted, because they had been, offering it to me for years, and I was like, no, whatever, no, because I was so used to doing it in my way. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, when you brought this on, I was like, oh my goodness, this has saved me so much time. I mean, it saves a lot of time. All the documents are there. If a client, because I get this all the time, can you send me this? Can you send me that? Well, all you got to do is go to the portal. It's right there. All your documents are right there. I upload your tax return. You upload your W-2s. You upload your expenses. I mean, everything is there. everything is there for both of us. Like again, I know some people don't like it because it does take a little bit of work. However, these are the questions that I would ask anyway. These are the questions that it's an interview process, interview within the portal. But those are the questions that I need, to complete your tax return. And another thing is like I always have people say, "Oh, just use last year's information." No, I cannot use. I need to use this year's information.
Right.
So make sure you do your documentation, so everything will be aligned. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I mean, and so the great thing too, I love the transformation in you as well, seeing you with your clients, even during the off season when you're connecting with your team, in regards to questions and in the chat. How important is it just to even think about marketing and write-offs? So all these different things, right? Like the Taxstone, the Calendly. If a business owner would actually adopt some of these AI systems, if that's what they are, can you write that off on your taxes? And all these, like, think about the courses I took. Can I write all that off on my taxes? Now, what is that called? Deduction, marketing, right?
Right, marketing.
So how important is marketing? And then the other piece, when we invested in Google Ads for Smile and Blink Photo Booth, is that a tax write-off?
Yes, it is, because that's marketing costs.
So do we need to do advertising and marketing in order to build a business as a business owner?
You do.
And so the only way,
because how are you going to get it out there?
Exactly. And like even with the Daniels and the different investments that I've done with the digital marketing, how will we grow as a small? And I'm doing this for a reason, because this is the same thing you tell your clients, and that's what I've watched you. Like, because if you don't go through the experience of growing and growth, right? So what is the cost of waiting? If you didn't do your, what's the cost of just not getting it done past that 3 years? Like, you get 3 years to do it.
The cost is going to be if you get a refund. It's forfeited.
Right.
Now, if you owe, the cost is going to be penalties and interest. I mean, because there is still going to accrue. I don't care if you don't file them or not. I mean, it will still due, regardless if you filed them on time or not. So, so if you owe, the cost is going to be paying those hefty fees.
But see, the thing that I noticed is that fear, going back to that fear thing, or what have you. And so I'm going to wrap it up, because I know we get to the top, almost to the top of the hour here as well. But I do have a couple of more questions that I'm going to have to hit you with. So in regards to your passion to give, like even today, we were just talking about fundraising with CCC Because We Care Foundation. Where does that passion come from? Like, where does that come from in regards to Delta and just all of the different things I've seen you randomly give? Where does that passion for you giving come from?
I mean, not from God. Like, it has to be from God. It's just in me. It's just in me. It's just something that is in me. I mean, that's the only way I can explain it. I mean, because it is. I mean, I've throughout my journey, people have helped me, and maybe subconsciously, that's a thing. But it's just in my heart to give. I love helping people. I mean, to the point, I need to help myself. But I'm always, it's just something in me. And it's one of those things where sometimes you don't want to, but because people do take advantage at times or whatever, but it's still, even with all of that, it's still in me. I still have a heart. I still want to give. I still want to help. But then I had to learn too and realize that, people have to help themselves. I can't help people. They got, I can help. I can assist in that, but I don't see a person and hey, yeah, you can do this, you can do that. I can encourage them, but if they don't see that, then me helping them is not going to do. I'm putting a Band-Aid on it, or I'm doing, as my therapist would say, I'm giving them a bailout. I'm bailing people out as opposed to allowing them to be accountable, for their actions and the things that they're doing. So.
I kind of, because I want to make sure I don't get in trouble. So with this next question, because when you think about your taxes and your family and your community and everything that you do, right? There's a why behind it. What is your why?
My why is, I know I keep saying God, but that's, what
wakes you up in the morning? So God, it's just so.
It's just I'm living. I feel I'm living for Him. You know what I mean? So I want to make Him proud. You
I like
know,
that too.
yeah, like I want to make him proud, and so I just try to live in that way. You know, I try not to stress about things because I do know that he's gonna handle it. I mean, he can do all things, and he has done. I mean, he has shown me so many times he can do all things, and so I put all my trust in him. And I know that if something happens that I don't even want to happen, or I think it's just detrimental, whatever it is, I still know that it happened for a reason, and God is gonna he's gonna see me through,
I love it.
which He has always done. So I just my why is God.
So
And
go ahead.
no, and I know in previous lives you've asked people who their superhero.
You don't fast forward. That's my top 8. You can't ask yet. You can't answer that yet because I got 2 more things to say.
Okay. All right.
Because we're almost there. Because
Okay.
because I have to say thank you. And one thing, because I've seen you do it for other people for my birthday, self-care, making sure that because your mindset and the blessing that it's words I can't even put it to words, the impact that you've made over I'm not about to get emotional, but I feel like it's coming. But but the impact that you've made on me, Enyka. But the birthday, just doing the self-care a couple of days ago, and then our actual 16 years in a couple of days for CCC Because We Care Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
When you keep I'm trying to keep it insisting that God is designing your life. How much does mindset play into that? Like, how do you fight through? I want to know this too. How do you do it? Like you catch people when they fall. You're so much for so many people, but when it turns around, you're not always in the receiving end. God's got you, but how is your mindset focused on helping people the way you do? Because I'm just going to stop before I. because I've seen you not even do it for me for my birthday. I've seen you give like gift certificates, making sure that I even remember your godson. He was having a baby. Oh, we're just going to pick up and go to the store. Like, you don't even think twice in your giving efforts. And I have to give you your flowers while you're here because I did not plan this, honestly, but you're amazing in the way that you carry yourself and in your mindset, and you don't do it to receive. So how do you have that resilient mindset, Enyka? I mean, how do you?
I mean, just again.
I'm just
I mean,
blessed to have you in my journey.
I hate and love that I'm saying the same thing, but because again, it's God. It's like I really value my relationship with Him. I believe, again, like I said, He can do all things. I believe that He puts in my heart, those things that He puts on my heart are ones that I really, really actually, so that's what happens. God puts it on my heart for me to do it, and I do it. And I mean, He's blessed me, to be able to do it. And so, I feel like it's my duty to do it. But I also know, that I can't be taken advantage of, so I'm a little more, I don't know what, a little more, I don't know what you want to call it, but just I'm not so well. If God puts it on my heart, I'm definitely going to do it.
Yeah,
because I was going to say, how some people know that you're a good person and they try to, do things. Well, try to be slick or whatever it is. But if it's on my heart, then if I do it, then know that God put it on my heart to do it.
Yes. And that's why the Random Acts of Kindness is so amazing for our organization. Like I said, September 11th being 16 years.
I know,
oh
right?
my God, we're
16
sweet 16.
Yes.
So I am going to go in the top 8 because I do want to respect your time too and keep it within the hour. So that first question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait. Ooh, before I do the top 8, tell people about the American Express opportunity if you're a business owner. Like the business card, like travel and points, and oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, you just gotta be psycho like me, I guess. Because I use all of my points. One thing I want to tell business owners, small business owners, that to utilize your credit and not your liquid assets, not your liquid cash. Utilize your credit.
Yes.
And with utilizing your credit, make sure you utilize those reward points. Those reward points can get you free travel, free hotel rooms, and things like that. I went to Barcelona, Madrid, and Morocco. It could have been a very expensive trip, However, I had miles and I had points where I was able to pay for part of the hotel. I don't think I even paid for the flight at all. I think I just paid for the taxes because I had enough. I had enough points to go. I use my credit card, my business credit card, and I accumulate those points to help me get those benefits and perks. And I have other benefits and perks, that you can get. So, if you're a business owner, check into it, look at it. I can send you a link.
I'm gonna make sure I put the website
I can
up.
send you a link if you are at all interested, or if you need more information, give me a contact, and we can go over something personalized for you guys.
So now I'm gonna go into the fun of the top 8. So the first question of the top 8, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna put your website up because if people do need tax help, having someone that like and trust, and even having this conversation, even for the replay, you're able to leave a comment and being able to connect with the Tax Extraordinaire, because again, it's so important to have someone right at your fingertips that'll be able to help you maximize your refunds, strategize with you, come up with different scenarios, even book an appointment if you want to invest in a consultation with Enyka Gaines. That is the whole idea, is to strategize, save, and succeed during tax season, right? So when I'm wrapping things up, and I want to ask about the superhero character first. Now, mine is Flash, right? This is my fun part. Flash, because my line name Flash, of course, as you know. But what is your superhero? What would your superhero be if you could be any superhero? I got a funny one earlier.
Here's the thing. Again, I've been talking about God as my superhero.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if that's in Google. I don't know if God is in Google. Let me see what
I don't know, but He is truly my superhero.
Because I typically bring up
the superhero.
Superhero.
God is my superhero. He is. I don't like all the fictional, all that. God is my superhero because He can do all things, and I know. Yeah, He can do all things. So, He's my superhero. He has led me. He has ordered my steps. He has made the cloudy bright. He has made the dark light. All those things. He has truly carried me. It's like I said, I have so many testimonies that I could share with you guys. I would share with the house testimony, like that one right there. It's just so many. So, yeah. So,
but it's not your last time on the show, because this is our Tuesday live virtual conversation, and this is the beginning.
Just the beginning.
She did it for my birthday.
There we go. I'm getting more comfortable though. So I don't know.
My live virtual conversations. You're doing an amazing job, but the key thing is seriously, a lot of people in my DM just ask questions about taxes. People being creators. If this marketing it's a write-off, investing in these courses, in opportunities, because if you can further your business, you got to get yourself out there. And
right.
That's my job right now, but God is leading both of us to get there together. So my next question for you is, now if you could eat any food, now weight isn't the amount isn't anything to deal with it at all. It used to be watermelon for me until Carol was on last week, and she actually told me sugar was actually
yeah.
And it was man-made. I heard so much about watermelon. So
yeah.
So do you happen to have a food that is your favorite that you can eat all day, every day?
Yeah, it used to be macaroni and cheese. It used to be, but you get older, and you can't have all that gluten and cheese and stuff.
Right.
So I guess my new thing now would be, vegetables. I guess I like green peppers. I guess if that, I know, right?
Right.
Now I'm trying to get into I'm getting more into the healthy living, not eating meat, trying to stop eating meat. Because it seems like these hormones and 50 turning 50 the hormones and the weight and all that stuff ain't working out. So we have to change our diet in some ways. And so, I'm finding love for tomato soup. Like I said, green peppers. Like, I was not a vegetable person at all. No. And so for me to eat a cucumber and green pepper salad and just be like, yeah, that's good. It's different. Right. So get into, eating healthy.
Okay.
But it would be macaroni and cheese if I could.
Right. Mine used to be lasagna before we went to Italy.
Right.
That's no longer.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are you originally from? And, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. What up, though?
Same. Detroit, Michigan. What up, though? Over off Lawn and Linwood is where I grew up, near Northwestern High School. So So yeah,
I should
a lot
drop
of
it now. Sits outside here, Rosedale Park.
I mean, yeah, then we moved over to Evergreen, 7 Mile, you know.
Right.
So
We
yeah.
got the streets.
Yeah, so the west side line, right.
Right. Okay, so the next one I have for you, oh my God, travel. And it stands out for me because, you know, you were able to travel to the 50 states before your 50th.
Yes, I did.
So now I've asked that question before, but I'm gonna ask you again. What has been your favorite place to travel and why? And you know, mine is still Toronto. I've traveled 48 of the 50. I got 2 to go.
2 to go. You still got 4 years.
We're gonna do it before then, though.
Right?
But,
that's before you turn 50. Yeah, because the 50 before 50 was an amazing quest. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it.
Right.
You know, you did a lot of them with me. So we went on our East Coast tour, and that was one of the most exciting ones. Well, I mean, you know, I did a lot, but the East Coast tour was very memorable. I mean, we got a lot of stories. We walked trails. Almost got pulled over by the police. I mean, just, you know, but what was Rhode Island was really nice. I really enjoyed Rhode Island. Nice little small, quaint. I don't know, wherever we were. It was nice. But did we visit Brown University? I think.
We did.
Like I said, we were in Maine. We were in the woods.
Yeah.
Vermont was very scary. It was very, very scary. Remember that? So that East Coast tour, it was just a memorable. We went
on
the
bathroom in Vermont.
No, don't not. Yeah, we went horseback riding, Boston. It was interesting, you know, just to see, you know, New Hampshire, all of that. It was very interesting. That trip was that trip was very interesting, as well as the one when we went to Wyoming and all of that stuff. We was in the little Jeep, like we was. We went on the car safari. I think we went from one end of South Dakota to the other end of South Dakota. What was also amazing was the what was that, Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was
gotta go.
Yes,
like
Mount
said,
yes, that architecture was amazing.
Oh
like I mean, that right there, that stood out.
Yeah.
To me, yeah. So within the 50 states. Now, internationally, I just came back from Marrakesh, Morocco, and that was amazing. I mean, had a great time. The people were very friendly. The food was good. Went on a desert tour. Hot air balloon. I mean, it was very, very nice. The weather was nice. The people were nice. The food was nice. It was just go to Marrakesh, Morocco. It was a grand time.
I was that. Yeah, that was I haven't been there yet. I gotta go. So you touched down on the motherland.
I did.
Think that is so
right?
amazing. Yes. You gotta do it at least once to Africa is the motherland. If you know one on the live, but oh my gosh, that was so amazing. Okay.
Right.
So the next one I have for you is simple and easy. What book or movie is impactful for your mindset? So for myself, it's Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, because they really didn't teach financial education in schools. You know, we talk about that a lot. Our financial education, the literacy workshops and things that we've done in the past, they haven't taught financial like still to this day. And so that book really stands out for me. And the movie for me is Sinners, because you know you got to invite people in.
Right. I agree with you.
That's the
there. Sinners was a good one.
Yes.
Let's see. I mean, books. I'm a novel reader, so I read a lot of novels.
What are you reading now? Because you were telling me about
Kennedy Ryan Kennedy. I think is her name. Is it Kennedy Ryan Kennedy? I'm reading the Skyland series from Ryan Kennedy.
Okay, there you go. Kennedy Ryan.
Okay, Kennedy Ryan. Yes. So I used to read. I used to novels all the time, and then of course life happened, and so now the kids are grown, and I'm traveling, so I get to read again. And so I had not read a novel in a while, and so I picked up I was at the airport. And I picked up, is it Kennedy Ryan Kennedy? Kennedy Ryan. And I picked up one of her books, you know, and I go to read it because I have to read every page, and I find out that it's a series. So I needed to go back and get the other 2 books before I read that book. So I've read the 2 books, and now I'm on the book that I actually got the first time, you know, the initial time. So I'm on that book. Well, I'll read that book come this Thursday because I'm going to the French Riviera. So I'll be reading that one on the plane.
Come on,
but it's a very good series, and just from reading books, years ago to reading now, and with Kennedy Ryan, she is really bringing out some things that's going on in the world, like autism, mental health, Alzheimer's. So those are the things that are in her book, and it's really like ways to, to cope with those things.
Right.
So she's bringing that stuff to life, and it's just really interesting. I really like her series. So she has other series, but I want to finish this one and then, probably jump into some more.
Okay, that's good. Because you may be interested in actually reading a novel, because I've been reading investing and building the billionaire brand.
Yeah. I'm more of a novel reader. I'm not.
I'm in the offer lab now. I'm trying to get us to go to the billionaire. So you continue to travel, and I'm traveling on.
But I need to get on. What you doing?
We're working together. Yeah, we got this. So we got this. So in other words, the next question I have for you, in one word, you can actually your brand, right? Because I've been through a lot. Resilience is my word. Do you have one word that stands out for you in regards to me? You.
In regards to me, yes. I would say authentic. Authentic, and I try to be as authentic in every aspect of my life as I can. I try to, a lot of people talk about, my family, we're blunt. They talk about us being blunt. And I have learned, to kind of control the bluntness and talk to people in a way, because I have to be honest with people. So, but it's a way that you can, be honest with people. So but I feel like I have to be. So that's who I am. I'm authentic. I'm an honest person. Even with the taxes, I let you know what it is. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm going to give you exactly what it is. Right. Period. You're going to know what it is. I'm going to explain it to you. All of that good stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're going to know. So
have you ever looked at this wall, the one word wall from your birthday?
I did look at the one word wall for my birthday.
So the reason I was bringing this up is because you are the reason I asked that question during the live virtual conversations, because it started with this one word, because you started with the one word, and so authentic when we were talking, so that's what made me bring this up, because we did the one word wall. This is another way that people can kind of give you flowers while you're still living. Authentic is who you are. Like that is just a real talk conversation.
I appreciate that. I truly do. I try my best to be.
Yes.
That's the only way I know how to be. It's too old to be trying to lie because I can't remember it. So I just can't. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
Even no matter how how hard the truth hurts. Sometimes you just have to give it to people. And my other reasoning behind it is you have to be authentic with people. You have to let them know where they're wrong, where they're right. If they're wrong, because again, people have to grow. Yeah. How are you going to grow if everything I tell you is right, or you think everything is right? Everything is right with the world. Well, that's unrealistic. You
do tell me directly. Sugarcoat, no cherries, no.
Yeah, well,
it's very rare that I get any whipped cream. So,
but it's only to
help me grow
better.
I get
you know what I mean? Because it
doesn't feel good all the time. I'm telling you that.
True. I get it. I get it from other people too, because I think that I'm just I can do sometimes. I am, but you know how a person who has a lot of knowledge, you can probably tell this person, but sometimes you have to listen to. And so I've learned to listen.
You do listen more.
I've learned to listen because I feel like because I'm always talking because I'm always trying to help somebody. But sometimes everybody don't need the help. Maybe they just need you to listen.
Well, I'm thankful for the help.
But I'm just saying it's just some people don't. They just need you to listen. They don't necessarily want to hear what you have to say. They just and I'm not a sounding board for people. Some people call me for a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't want to steer them wrong. You know.
Yeah, because of the authenticity. That's why I trust what you say, because I know you don't. Whether or not I want to hear it or not.
Yeah.
Which even brings me to my next question I ask in regards to a favorite date. And I tell you my sobriety day, November 20th, 2023 is my day now, instead of like the holidays and all that, because the old Adrian is gone. Mm-hmm. And this new Adrian with the 3 DUIs, with all the failures, in grinding and knowing God has me covered and know the plan, mm-hmm. That's the day now that it's my cousin passed away on your birthday, right. And literally his birthday is on my sobriety day, November 20th, which is I didn't plan either one of those, right. Of course. That's why I know it's God's design, and my angels are, you being one of them, are covering me. Do you have a day or a time of the season or that like a day that, because it used to be Thanksgiving for random, or when we did our foundation stuff for me, but my sobriety date is, and I just asked you that yesterday, would you be okay with me never drinking again?
Yeah. And I said that out loud.
And I said, because I see the difference. My skin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I still marvel on my eczema being gone. Like I still touch my skin. Like it's just so the different things. But you being one of the closest, I just really wanted your opinion on that. But do you have a day or a time of the year that stands out for you that you just love that day, or time of year or season?
Yeah, my birthday.
I love it.
My birthday. I really get to celebrate me, and I think that I am open to other people celebrating me because it's very, very hard for me to receive.
Yeah, it is.
So for my birthday, I can receive. I allow myself to receive. I do. So the month of May is always a good month for me because we have Mother's Day, and then there's my birthday. So So the month of May.
Okay.
Right around my birthday.
I get it. Okay. I love it. Now, if you could go back and touch younger Enyka, now she's listening, because we didn't listen as children. So if you can go back and tap younger Enyka on the shoulder and give her a piece of advice, what piece of advice would you give?
What would I tell younger Enyka? Oh,
isn't that a good one?
It is. I'm gonna have to think about that. The only reason I'm saying, because I wouldn't necessarily change anything, because I really feel like this is my path. Everything that's happened was supposed to happen. So, I guess the only thing would be maybe to realize a couple of things a little bit sooner. That's the only thing I can think of. Just realize it. My younger self I would say this: don't be grown before you need to be. Because I believe at 16 I was way too grown. Well, I was out here doing I didn't necessarily have to be.
But I don't know if I agree with that, because if you weren't the way you were, then you wouldn't have been taking that 5 cents and going to figure it out to Grambling State University. Like, because you saw.
But I could have also been structured and got a scholarship, and because I was on the path to doing so. Because my mom, I was 3.5, I was 4.0. Grandma, I told you, I had 4 F's and 2 D's. So that so that I would tell my younger self to stay a kid is
I actually tell myself to love myself through it all, because I did not. Yeah. Like that's why the alcohol came. That's the why I was people pleasing the way I was. So, I didn't realize what I was doing until you smacked me in the face with it several times and then told me to go to therapy on a serious note, because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
So, but I get it. Okay. Okay.
I think because in the sense it may have, I guess, made some things easier. Possibly, because again,
I doubt it.
I don't know. Exactly. That's what it was.
Know that now, so
I do too. But you asked if I could, so that's what it would be. But because like I told you, I wouldn't want to change anything, because I believe that everything that has happened for a reason, and it has brought me to who I am today. But that's one thing that maybe I still feel like I would have gotten here, but maybe. I don't know, maybe a little bit more fine-tuned, or maybe it wouldn't have taken me as long to figure out that, hey, this tax business should have been a hustle. It should have been a business all along, because it has created this, this life for me, where, I get to, spend some months working and other months traveling. So I probably could have got to there sooner. That's all.
So last question for you in regards to testimonials. You know how we've done YouTube, and you're able to kind of get your tax tips out this past year, and people giving their thought process on you. How important has testimonials been in your business? Just hearing about business and how people actually feel about it. The tax tips are doing real well. You're like, why you stop doing them? Your tax tip jar. And we're going to continue to do that as we grow our brand. But how impactful was it to hear what other people had to say about you, and kind of getting that, and then putting it out there so that other people can know, like, and trust you as well, getting referrals and things from that?
Well, you banged it in my head. Get a review, get a review, get a review, get a review. You know, I mean, you would tell me that all the time, and I did not understand the importance of it. So I do now. Fast forward, I do now. Mm-hmm. I do understand the value of the reviews. I mean, because I'm almost at a 5-star. I had one person give me a 4 point whatever, but you know, we ain't gonna talk about that. But we always got your one. However, right. I mean, it makes me feel proud. It makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. You know, seeing all these nice comments, and you know, I have people that have been coming to me for years. I have people who their kids have grown up with me. You know, at first they were dependents on their parents' taxes. Mm-hmm. Now they have dependents, or you know, they're you know, doing the taxes themselves. So you know, I like to see my clients each year to see how they're doing, to see if they're actually listening to me. Some of them do, some of them don't. You know, but we're still working on that. You know, as they say, continue to repeat it. You know, they hit them upside the head at some point. Right. Yeah. So, but so yeah.
So in other words, I want us to wrap up here because I went over my hour and I don't want to get in, and, you know, I do want you to get back to your day, but I want to tell you thank you for being authentic, for being the business person for your journey, because I wouldn't be here if it was not for the impact that you've made in my life, personal, professional, all of it. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. Even making, like I said, my 46th birthday was amazing. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed you were in Chicago, and I'm in, you know, but you encouraged me. You gave me the you do this a lot, the takeaway clothes. But don't do it if you don't want to. No. But you know, doing that self-care piece, and you know, me actually realizing you loving me for who I am, and I can truly and honestly thank you, because I have my good and my bad. I haven't been perfect in the journey, but I know that God has me in the direction of nowhere but up, because I'm on a billionaire journey, and it's going to reach the mindset first, but God's plan second. But with you as an angel in my life, I wanted to thank you for my virtual conversations, for doing this live virtual conversation as well. In our freaking anniversary for CCC Because We Care Foundation in a couple of days as well. So, Enyka, is there anything before I let you go? Because I can say thank you before I get emotional. Is there anything that you want to say in regards to just to wrap up for people that taxes, nonprofits, passion, community? We talk about a lot today, but yeah, I mean, because we're a lot, right? We're a lot. Right. This is just the beginning. Hey, that's why these are so important. It's like you've impacted me, and this means more to me. I hope it's for you all too. But
well, absolutely me too.
Right.
I'm getting a little bit comfortable, so.
And then I saw the comfort level come too, but that's what consistency does, and getting back, just attempting, observing, adjusting, and then just keep repeating. That's how we're going to keep helping people. But you've helped me in my journey, Enyka, and I want to say thank you.
You are very welcome, and you have helped me as well. So please don't let that go unnoticed. You truly have helped me in my journey as well. And so, I mean, again, you allow me to digitize my business, which streamlined the processes, which gives me a lot more time
to travel.
You know, even with the Google reviews, like again, I was like, you know, and then I got into it, like, okay, well, let me get a review, and then just listening to the reviews. I mean, even with the one word that people, I mean, I was just like, oh, you know. Because I just do the work. I don't think about it. Doesn't I appreciate it. I'm gonna say it doesn't matter to me, because it does matter. It matters a great deal. It gives me the gut to continue to do it more and more, because I know that I am positively impacting lives, which, you know, is my mission to do. I want everybody to be happy. I want us all to be happy. And if there's anything that I can do to help it along the way, to encourage people along the way, then that's what I'm here to do. And I truly believe that God placed me here to do just that.
Thank you for coming on the live virtual conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And it's just the beginning, because when I have my club, Shay, a million Cat Williams reviews.
I know that's right.
I mean, it starts somewhere, and the consistency. And this is going to be every Tuesday in building this digital marketing journey, helping people with their authentic story and sharing their story, and then turning it into AI with a webinar. I made my first AI chatbot. I introduced you to Chad.
You did. Thank you.
So, the new, our guy, that's my man, but you got one. I don't. That's my book. So in other words, just change and being open to possibilities. That's what growth is about. And you have helped me grow. And I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And you've done the same. Honestly, you have.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me get on. Watch this live. Watch this, y'all. The Tax Extraordinaire, Enyka Gaines. Oh, I told you she was real, my family, and there she is. And so literally, if you have problems with your taxes, this is just a brand that you can trust. Being the Change LLC, CCC Elevate You, Gaines Family Services, the Tax Extraordinaire, anything that Adrian Mays and Enyka Gaines has their finger on, you're gonna get authentic, and you're gonna have a resilient, you're gonna get nothing but the best. Because if we can't do it, we got Chad GPT from today. There's nothing that you can't do. But on a serious note, to wrap up, Enyka Gaines, turning numbers into freedom and community impact. And I'm going to make sure I put her website back up here as well. If you actually need a consultation to grow your business, to come up with strategies, that's what we do. We help people. And building this brand, we talk about the billionaire brand a lot, because again, I think it's day 480 now, because I messed up the other day. I think it's day 480. Day 480 of the billionaire journey. It's not just about the money. It's helping people along the way with this random acts of kindness, the live virtual conversations, and letting people do something different with their raw stories and showing how we can monetize it. So thank you so much, my friends, my family, and any type of the replay. You're definitely able to, connect and connect with us as well. But you know how I end our lives. I will, I shall be victorious. It only took me about how long I've been doing these lives to get Enyka on there. Deuces. I love you guys. Thank you.